Alright, guys. It is a young buck, and I don't do something like this often. Rarely, if anything, have I done anything like this. Usually, I just talk on my videos, like the Tekken videos that you watch, a few of you watch, which I do appreciate all views and everything like that. Even the shorts, you'll hear me talk sometimes, and I'm not folks that are really locked in. But yeah, I used to do something like this a few times back in Tekken 7. But anyway, I don't want to get too much about it. So, the idea of this video is I want to contribute to adding defense, because I know that's the topic and the reason why most people are disliking Tekken 8 at the current moment. Season 2 has a lot of hate from people, and it has a few bugs. I'm pretty sure more than just Jack 8 makes some noise and Paul's glitch unblockable. There's some other bugs I think I found, but I'm kind of still exploring with it as much. But this idea of this video that I wanted to create, instead of making noise, no pun intended, like, you know, boycotting or saying how much I hate Season 2, I think I want to add to help. And these ideas I'm going to state, they're just for fun. I don't think it's going to be complicated, and it's still challenging. The ideas of defense that I have in mind for blocking and movement that could be implemented if the devs want to do something like this, they're just ideas. I don't see these actually going through. But if, and it's a big if this sparks any other ideas, I would be glad if something like that actually goes through. So enough of me yapping. Hopefully I don't run amok on this video. That's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? So these are just my ideas that I have, and you tell me if you even like these ideas or not. Or maybe we can start something more than just bashing on Tekken. Maybe we can come up with ideas of defense that could help, or, you know, stuff like that. Now, just to core preference, before I say what these are, the reason I'm making a video like this, I understand from the beginning, they literally told us that Tekken 8 was all about aggression. So I had to, when I was coming up with these ideas for improvement on defense, I had to put that in mind, because that was the direction and the idea we're going. And hopefully these don't stop the flow of aggression, but make it more unique for defense and, you know, for execution wise. I think it meets both standards, where I think both the players, like people complaining, I don't even want to just say legacy players, I think both sides of people, like casuals and legacy players, as you know, like Murray says, and even the devs would probably see this as fun. So enough me yapping now. I said that again, but okay, here we go. The first idea I have, right? I call it reversal grabs, right? Now, I don't really have any type of... Let's just use our imagination, what this is based off, right? You've already reading it, and what you read is kind of just a throw-out idea, to be honest. So, the way I see this working is more so, you know, when you break a command throw, right? It should be rewarded, right? What if, instead of just you breaking that be the reward, what if within the break animation, like by like 1 to 3 frames, right, and you input your command grab and you get to execute your command grab for, you know, breaking that grab, right? Wouldn't that be cool to see? Like, I mean, this might more so affect King players. I know they like to grab, but also King is really strong where he doesn't need to grab. I mean, I'm usually, whenever I see King players gameplay, is usually they're comboing you into a grab. There's never just like off the rip grabbing, or it's always the running knee or running what do you call it? I'll show it. But I think this would be a cool way to incentivize people to practice grab breaking, and it's also another way for players to be a little bit more defensive, and even good players can go. Now, I was thinking, what if this could be loot, right? Would people want to see that, or should it just be the attacker who grabs first? If he or she grabs break her command standing. By the way, I should have prefaced that. Only really basically on standing grabs, right? The reason why I say that because there are some grabs that have changed animation where they grab your leg and you have to when you break out you roll away or you kick away, right? I think those should just be left as is. I'm talking about the standing command grabs, like for example, season two Jin's down forward 2+4, right? Where he grabs you with both his hands, and if you break that, you're still standing. I think grabs like those command grabs should have like okay, those can be interrupted with another command grab if you buy and the frame is tight. The frame is tight, so it's not like something that's just gonna happen or people have to feel like they're scared. I mean, if you know it's coming and you're fast enough, then maybe this will be more beneficial to pro players, right? But having that said, that's kind of just the first idea I have, right? Now for the second one, string break. Okay, now how do I explain this in a way where it makes sense? Well, as you read it as is, I would think this would probably be best suited for a heat only type of thing. I think Mortal Kombat has something like this. An example where people, I think it was actually for combos. It could be combos or string. If you had enough meter, you can break. It's been a while since I played Mortal Kombat, but the idea just kind of popped to me. In season two, a lot of characters are kind of overwhelming, and you start to see them more often, like Jack. And make some noise. Obviously, I know it's a bug, it's a glitch, and they're gonna fix it, right? So it may not be what it is, but it kind of gave me ideas to that other characters that aren't claimed to have bugs or fix. Some of them have overwhelming pressure, and as a Jin player, that while running three, man, you can do some crazy loops. It's +12. It's +12 on hit. I mean on block. +12 on block. You can get so much out of that just looping it, especially because the aggression is so stronger in season two when pushed to the wall. You're damn near making the other person defending have to guess for their life, and nobody wants to go through that. So I think string break would be good. I think also because they neutralize key charge. Maybe this could be a good mechanic to add the key charge, make it more fair and stuff like that. But that's just an idea that I have. It should alleviate. That's really what it is. I'm thinking for, and I think it should cost anywhere from 25 to 30% of heat. I personally think that's fair if it uses that much. And the only reason I say that is because when you enter heat, most people enter heat through heat bursts. They're not doing heat engages all the time unless you're like low in HP and you need some HP back. So now you're trying to think, how am I going to get this person in a heat engage move? And it's not like it's the hardest thing in the world. It's pretty easy. I've done it a lot of times, and I'm pretty sure most players do it a lot of times too. But with heat burst, you don't start with full bar. So maybe like 25% or 30% I think would be fair, but this would have to be playtest. I wouldn't know how it would actually go, which for everything I'm going to say and what I've already stated, that's how it should be looked at. This is all just theory. None of this is practiced out in my mind. I wouldn't even know if like, what just came to my head? What if cheaters get a hold of what I'm about to say? Turning a good thing bad. So again, these are just ideas I'm just throwing out. Maybe this might spark something for the community, and maybe instead of just bashing, let's just state out something that we want, because I wish Namco would put out a survey asking what type of defense we want to see added to the game that won't really affect too much of the aggression, but still be fun for us, right? I think there is a middle ground. I don't think if you buff offense and defense it makes an ass game. I think if you just find the balance between two, or even if offense is just slightly better, where defense doesn't feel like it's 10% and offense feels like 90%. If you find like a balance of anywhere from 70 to 30 to about maybe 60-40 or even 55-45. That's really pushing it. But stuff like that, So, next one, jumping push kick. Now, I call it that specifically because, and this is really just for like blocking. This is blocking, right? When a player makes an action to utilize a low, right? Usually, most of the time, this will occur is most players are low on HP, and you're at the wall. Most of the time, people are gonna go for a low. Now, it's not like nobody's gonna use a low anytime without, some characters. This might affect some characters. So I don't really see this actually being put into the game. But the idea that I had in mind, this requires perfect time execution. If you can see a person going to throw a low at you, and you press up forward and you jump just in time, right? And your character, just right as your character is above their head, and maybe this will activate a new animation. I also keep in mind, as before I continue, that I don't work in these departments, so I don't know how much money it would even take to implement this. I would think it's something so significant and they can just throw in a smaller animation. But once you hit just over your opponent's head and you press 3 or 4, it will use a kind of like neutral animation of a kick, but not something that is like a kick. Kind of like Panda Season 2 grab that kind of jumps over you. It's kind of like that. It just pushes you over, right? But this doesn't give like the guy who excuse me. This doesn't give the player like an advantage or disadvantage. This is just more of like, okay, I need to get out of the situation, recoup. This person was hitting me with non-stop mix of mids, low, high, low, mid, high, low, mid, stuff like that. And you just happen to see the low coming. Like, okay, he's done this every time after he's done this mid. Boom, let me jump over him. I'm gonna press 3 and 4, knock him over, get a whole rebalance of the game back to neutral. You know what I'm saying? And then you guys, well, I would hope this would bring more tactics. Hopefully this wouldn't discourage aggression, but more so if the person who is more preferred of defensive playstyle, this would give them more of a buff to their style. But again, this would require perfect time execution, because there are strings like low mids or low high, where if you jump over the first and the high comes out, that might hit you. So this would have to be like, what's a perfect example? All right, since I'm a Jin main, I'm gonna use Jin as an example. Like a full crouching down forward 4. If Jin was to do that and you jumped over, that's a perfect example. Instead of Jin's down 3-4, where that's a low high, and then you press 3 for mid, something like that. That's kind of the example that I'm trying to get at, and that's really for blocking. Those are my ideas for blocking. I just wanted to come up with 3, and I have 3 for movement as well, which is the next thing. And I think movement was actually a lot more fun for me to come up, because there was actually a lot more ideas than blocking in general. And tell me what you guys think of this. Alright, the next one, wall push. So this is kind of unique, because I had a lot for this, right? Now I might have written a lot, but this is really simple and just me stating it, right? Okay, there already is kind of a wall jump, right? When you're back to the wall, you're back to the wall and the opponent has you in the corner. Nobody likes being trapped like a rat, especially if the opponent is playing somebody that can be played overly aggressive, rush down, as most people say, right? And you're stuck to the wall and you're like, fuck, I don't want to be here, because now that I'm at the wall, this player is gonna definitely do some 50-50 mix, and I'm gonna have to guess for my life, right? Well, like a wall jump, if utilized, it is back, up, back, right? And sometimes it gets out of mid, sometimes I think it definitely gets out of mid and low. I need to actually boot up the game and check this out for myself, and then I'll show it as well. But I don't know if it stops high. I think highs do beat it, but I think it's more of a timing thing. It's been a while. I don't usually always in the opportunity to find out because it's not my first thought. But I think with this implementation of wall push, giving more than just a up up back, I think this would encourage people to think about more defense when they're trapped to the wall itself. So these were the ideas I came up with, right? It's 1 and 3, but it's really 1 and 2 because the other 2 and 3 is really the same thing. There's one goes left, one goes right, right? Now the first one is unique. This one is my favorite, right? So just to put in perspective, everybody knows the shoulder boulder. I call it shoulder boulder, but it's really the tackle. I like shoulder boulder a lot. So shoulder boulder, when you're running after a couple of steps, if your opponent has to move forward and he's at a certain distance, you boulder that person. You become, you get a power crush like state ability, and on block I think it's plus 13. I don't know if they changed it. I haven't done it in season 2. I've just been focused on making combo videos. But also, you have the power crush as well. What if that could be active at the wall, but without the power crush variant part? So this is more of a quick shoulder push, like a jump leap off the wall. You're back to the wall. Imagine like this. You're back to the wall, right? Instead of the wall jump that you can naturally do, what if the character pushed off for a quick shoulder boulder instead? You know, this is more of if you time this right, it'll work, right? A mid probably will stop you because you don't have the power crush variant. I mean, the power crush would help this be more of a better defense tool, but I also think it should be, because I wanted to add the other two that I will state soon enough. I think this one could be done without the power crush, so this is your own 50-50 for like defense, if that makes sense, you know. So there's that's variant 1 added to, besides the wall jump. I call it wall push. I think that's a really good way. Or it can not even be the shoulder boulder animation. It could literally just be a push, right? Now, if timed with the string and there's a gap in your opponent's offense, where a gap is like they're pressing you, boom, 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 but then they stop for a brief second because they lost their turn, their minus at that point. They might do something they thought you just up there, like you guessed correctly on everything, right? And they stop. You can use that to push them, to push yourself from the wall and give yourself some space, right? And this, I do believe this should be plus 13, whether they block or get hit. I think this should give you a little bit more breathing room. I don't think it, okay, maybe plus 13 is pushing it. Maybe like plus 9, where this could bring you back to neutral. It doesn't give you nothing, but if you choose to attack, at least you'll win most bouts if you're jabbing and stuff like that. Now that's just my idea on the first one. Now for the second one, and like I said, the second and third is the same one. Leaping. I call it leaping sidestep, left or right. Now I put it together, it's really the same thing. So really just, like I said, 1 out of 2, if you're technically looking at it. Now the intentions of this, say your opponent is hitting you with stupid amount of pressure, right? And you can't use the first variant that I stated of the wall push. Now you need a way to get out. Nobody likes being trapped at the wall like a rat, like I said earlier. Where this part is more so not to put you in an advantage frame or a disadvantage frame, but to gather in neutral. Where this variant, I didn't even state how you would do the shoulder, the wall push. Okay, so the wall push is just like how you have back, back, up, back. It is back, back, forward to do that. I think that would be a simple thing to do. Keep it genuinely the same, right? If you have back, back, up, back, then you should be back, back, forward, so that the character recognizes that's for wall sequence, right? Okay. Anyway, my fault. Back to the leaping sidestep. Now, leaping sidestep is just a way to get out of your opponent's super overwhelming, bombarding pressure. You know what I'm saying? And just so I don't forget, it should be executed like this: back, back, either up or down depending on your position, and you could choose to go left or right. This will gather you, say for example, I mean, sidestepping is buff already in this game and is not bad, So that is a way to leap. I just think the leaping part just sounds cool. Like you jump from the wall, kind of like. And if I can find the video, I'll show it here. It was a UFC fight. Kind of somebody was running off the wall chasing somebody. But what if it was kind of like that, where the person would jump back, 1 foot on the wall, and then leap to the side that you chose to go. I think that just kind of looks cool. Like I said, it's not something that has to. Any idea that I'm stating, it's not like it has to be. It would just be cool to see something like that. You know, I think it would have good mechanics for defense, and it wouldn't ruin the aggression. People can still be aggressive. Like, say if you did the leaping sidestep, right? And your opponent times when he stops, like he knows you're gonna do the leaping sidestep to get out, and he stops his pressure where he doesn't have to whiff, and that opponent presses forward. Then they can just chase you down, because obvious forward is gonna do that regardless in season 2. I don't think this idea would stop aggression. I think this is just a way to, you know, have a little fun of like not feeling it's a one side, because that's most people's aggression with this game is they feel like it's a one player only experience, but it's really not. I mean, from my experience when I'm fighting, I don't feel like it's one sided, but I also feel like I'm playing people my level, to be honest, or even slightly better. And even if they are better, or they're just cheesing me with moves that people know are busted, I tried, and it's gonna sound corny, but I genuinely try to adapt to what my opponent is doing. I don't really. Sometimes it's hard to adapt on the go. I know most people just kind of just throw it out there. Oh, just adapt. Sometimes you've built yourself a rhythm, and sometimes it's hard to unfollow that rhythm because you're so used to it. It's muscle memory at that point. So I do understand the statements of just saying just adapt is wrong, because it's not just adapt. Sometimes you have to have a quick mind to change. And I think actually these pro players that are competitive, not just pro players who stay for pro, I'm talking about competitive players. I think that's really why they're so successful at winning tournaments, is because it's more than just adapt. It's being able to change your rhythm at a whim, or having multiple different rhythms for any variable situation, or even just a little bit of luck. But you know, that's my idea. I'm rambling a little bit too much. Let me get to the next one. Alright, for the second one, I call it Backdash Stumble. Now, it's kind of my favorite one, because this was kind of, okay, this is something, stumbling is not a new animation. Stumbling kind of happens like when a player throws out a low that is blockable, like you block it, there's a stumbling animation, right? And usually those are like minus anywhere from 26 to like 31. A launch punishable, right? What if, and hear me out, just indulge, humor me. Do you guys remember the first trailer of Tekken 8, where it was not the final rendition, but it was Jin versus Kazuya, and people were blown away by how the animation looked. There's a lot of people, and I still remember this from season 1, people are saying, how does the animation from that look way better than season 1 itself? It all looks good to me. I don't care. That's not the point. The point is, when I'm stating, what if, and do you remember when Jin threw an electric and it just went through Kazuya's arm, like it just missed Kazuya? What if, and this has to be more of an execution thing, and this backdash stumbling, I think, is obvious in the name. It only applies to when you backdash, you double back, right? On a homing or a launching move. I think if like a player's trying to launch you like an electric wind god fist, right? I'm just throwing out something staple like a Mishima electric wind god fist. That's usually a launcher, or a Horn just frame skyrocket, or Jin's electric wind hook fist, stuff like that, right? Or even homing moves like Jin's 4 roundhouse, Steve's guard break, Horn's right flamingo stance. What's it called? You know, the thingy where he spins and he kicks his got power crush. That one. Stop playing with me, man. Come on. Anyway, moves like that, homing moves or launch, and you backdash at the right time, it has to be frame perfect backdash too. It's kind of like Dragon Ball's, like Tenkaichi, even Sparking Zeroes. If you do, I think it's back. I almost said back one. If back square or I'm not even entirely sure if it. I think it's down and square. If you time it, you get that knee animation, and you know that animation is frame perfect. I think it should be something like that. If you backdash right before that, the move, the homing move, or even the launching move connects, it should give like a stumble. Now, here's the part that should be mentioned. I am not entirely sure how much frames that should be. I do think this one should allow the player who did the frame perfect should have the advantage. So, do I think it should be launch punishable if you dodge those moves? Maybe, because when you think about it, there are some homing moves that are busted as hell that are Power Crush variants, and I do think, you know, some of them are really safe on block. So maybe it should be launch punishable, maybe up to plus 15 or even plus 16. I think most characters don't, or majority characters have a plus 15 launcher, but I don't know if Steve has one. I think only from his crouching. I mean, I know they recently gave him a up to, or the instant launch from his peekaboo stance. That used to be up forward 2. I think it still is up forward 2, but they gave him the instant one version of that. But regardless, maybe plus 15 or plus 16. But really, my idea was probably just plus 14, where it doesn't have to be launch punishable. Maybe it's just a way to stumble the player's character. You get your turn, you attack. You can either push them away with a 14 frame move, maybe like Reina's kick into headbutt, or you know, what was it, down 1-2? I think it's down 1-2. The mid into the headbutt, or even like Jin's forward 1+2, stuff like that. A simple, anything 14 frame that hits should allow anything up to 14, like 10 to 14 frames. I think that's where the stumble should be. You should be either minus 10 to 14, but if most people would see it like, oh, it would be better if they were launch punishable, then okay. If the players decide that's how it should be, then yeah. But that's kind of my idea on the backdash. Now for the last one, and if you made it this far, or even decided that, hey, this guy is kind of stating something I don't hate, and it's just ideas like he stated, and I'm going to comment my opinion, which I do appreciate every comment that comes through. I do read them all. Then, hey, I appreciate you staying here. Alright, now without me yapping all the way through again, as I'm just constantly doing, just rambling now. The last one. Alright guys, I just want to pop in real quickly just to say that I was kind of testing some things out as I was editing the video, and then I realized that I think some characters are going to have a little bit more harder to do a backdash stumble on, because like if you're looking now, let's look at this. Jin right here, roundhouse doesn't look too much. It's pretty easy to dodge, right? So like stumbling on something like this, yeah, it possibly can happen, but as you can see, like, it requires great execution, which is true. That's exactly how I intended it to be. This would cause me to stumble. I probably weigh anywhere from minus 10 to 14. And then we're looking at launchers. Oh yeah, that could definitely, right? Boom. If stumble on that, there'd be nice. Stumbling at animation, if that was a thing that most people wanted. But less, that's good of my boy real Steve. This gave me the idea that some people are about to have it so much more easier.
Get ready for the next battle.
Have to be greatly increased for that specific moment, but that would just lead to more bugs. Look at this, I'm going. Oh, what the hell? Look at this. What the hell? Any launch moves like this, definitely getting caught. not getting caught. You're getting caught. And then the homing moves, you know, the greatest distance that you can manage. Like, with some characters would get off quick. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Is that considering that mine, some parts would have to be readjusted or fixed. But all right, back to the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Stun lock fall. Now this is more so. People don't really occur. Well, I shouldn't say that because it happens on a day-to-day basis. It does a lot. Do a lot of characters have moves that stun you? Kind of like Kazuya's while standing. I think 2. That moves like that, or Shaheen's while standing. That elbow move thingy. I don't remember what it was. Stuff like that. Moves that stun you. I think, and the reason I called it stun lock fall. I think because some moves that stun you, I don't think you can. Either super tight, it's a tight window where you can press forward or back to fall quickly or fall backwards. I think there should be something for like falling to your right side or your left side. So now my big brain idea why I was making this at the time, this was my 200 IQ plan on how this would work. It was more of a, oh, this one rock is gonna hit 2 birds, right? With one, so 2 birds, 1 stone. In season 2, mostly everybody on an average base. I'm not talking about from their best. I'm not talking about from their weakest. I'm talking about on an average base combo damage. And I've watched plenty of videos. Most people, and I'm so glad they had the UI for combo damage and hit. If you are one of those players who hated that factor, because you're one of those grinding ass players that do those nasty ass combo, I'm trying to see how much hit was made for that combo and how much damage it does. Most people on the average is hitting 70 to 100 averagely on a combo in season 2. Everybody can do this. This is not unique to one person. This is literally just, it happens now in season 2. I've accepted it because my character is Bufferman. Obviously, I've been playing Jin since Tekken 5, so I'm a character loyalist. So I'm very happy. I know most people aren't happy. I know, especially the Wii players. they are not happy. I feel bad for them, but it is what it is. Now, with that being said, if you press up or down when the stun happens, I think it should make you lean, like, you know, either left or right, and this will put you like in an off-axis state, not where, I don't know how the best way to explain it. You're still in front of them, but it will just turn your character to the side, so it's one of those way awkward offside axes. The reason why I said 2 birds, 1 stone is because, you know, most people complained about on first hit how it realigns you for combos, right? Some people made an argument that they love having off-axis combos because that is a statement of character. I forget what it's called. Phoenix talked about it, and I think I'll just post that, and because I think he stated it very well. But something like that. I think this will help the combo enthusiasts a lot, and also where you're not always getting. If you're the one on the receiving end of about to get whoa, what was that? That wasn't even English. If you're on the receiving end of a combo whipping ass move, right? At least you're not gonna see 70 to 100. I mean, it's possible if there's wall near you. Shit, it's over with. So you might as well just take your L at that point. But also, now that I think about it, maybe this is more of a, you choose which way you want to go, you know? Do you want to fall to your side? Do you want to fall forward? Do you want to fall back and make the combo? It just all depends on the situation, and it happens. It is what it is, right? The idea originally was just like, if you're nowhere near the wall, right? And you press up or down, you know, for the sidestepping probability as you get stunned. This happens when you get stunned, and maybe the frame is anywhere from 1 to 3 or 1 to 5, whatever it would be, right? And this way you wouldn't have to take so much damage, and the people who love their off-axis combos can still get what they want. And so that's really all I have for ideas. I mean, I have more in the background, but I don't want to make this video super long. I just wanted to come up with some ideas that could be pretty cool to see adding through the game instead of just trying to abolish Tekken 8, which, to be honest with you, I've never seen anything like this before. I don't know any other game that kind of went through something like this. Maybe, what's a game? There's one that does come to mind. Last of Us. I think Last of Us 2 did kind of see this hate from it. The same kind of hate that Tekken 8's going through. I never thought I'd see it from a fighting game, though, to be honest. I'm not boycotting Tekken 8, though. Just to be honest with you guys. Like, if you don't like a game, you just need to turn it off and go play a different game. I get some of you have been playing for a very long time like I have, so this bars you a lot more. Hell, it would bar me too if I was like really disappointed. But I mean, it's not my first. I've done this before too. So like Tekken 7. Tekken 7 wasn't really my favorite Tekken game, but it was because it was new. I enjoyed playing it every season, but after every beginning of the season, I would somewhat fall off, and then I would come back next season. Like, really looking at it now, right? Okay. Let's see if I can find this. This Tekken 8. Boom, Tekken 7. In totality, and this is on the PC, I had about 374.3 hours played in total. From spanning from season 2 to season 4, because that's when I started joining Tekken 7 on PC, was literally right after season 2 started. Where season 1 I was on the PS4, so I don't know in total how much that is, but just 374.3. In season 1 of Tekken 8, and I've been over a little bit more, it was actually a 445 hours just for season 1. So that tells me, physically, I like this game a lot more. I'm playing almost every day when I get the chance. When I come home, I think about playing Tekken 8, and I have a lot of games I need to go through. I need to beat them. Like the old Mega Man games, the Legends of Heroes games. I need to pre-beat all of the Kingdom Hearts, and there was another game, but it's not coming to my mind right now. But yeah, man, it's like, dog, I have all these other games I need to be playing, but I just sometimes catch myself playing more Tekken 8, man. So that's really it. If you don't like the game, I don't think you should force yourself to play. I think you should take breaks and come back every now and then. But calling the other Tekken games the real savior of Tekken, that's so far off, because every Tekken game had their problems. Remember, I started with Tekken 5. I played everything but DR. I hear people say DR over everything. I didn't know it came out for the PS3. I thought it was on the PSP. And I, like I said, I played every Tekken. I enjoyed it enough. I didn't really start getting better till really the end of season 4 for Tekken 7. Really shout outs to the main man, because it was him that I'd watch him and Level Up Your Game with were so much in my 14 years, because I started around 2011. I didn't start when Tekken 5 came out. I just happened to had my brother's PS2, and I remember digging through his old box before he left this house, and there was a bunch of games, and I still remember a little vividly. At the bottom of his bucket, when I'm digging through games, because I was really heavily into fighting games and racing games, I was looking for games that looked like I could enjoy, because I was a Nintendo kid growing up. I saw it there, Tekken 5. I said to myself, this is gonna be my game. I can already feel it. And I just plopped it in. And at first I was like, what the hell? Galaga? I thought I got ripped off. I was like, damn, they got me, bro. And then I pressed start, and Tekken 5 booted up. And I remember it was Kazuya I played first. And something didn't feel right. I almost didn't want to play the game anymore because of Kazuya. And I was like, this don't feel like who I should be playing. I said, hold on. Let me just play the other guy that's on the second player side. And it was a Jin. And from there, I just knew this was my character, and so I kind of just liked it. But I wasn't really good at the game. But you know, growing up, I'm so grateful that you know Rip and the main man were a big part because I thought it was just a niche game, you know. So I was happy to start learning, and up until like Tekken 7, like I said, the end of season 3 to 4 ish, that's when I found about Devil Star, and I started realizing I wasn't utilizing Jen to its full potential. But I won't claim that I was really good, and that's why I don't usually do stuff like this. But you know, I'm just pointing out my opinion. I'm letting you know where I came from, so you at least know who I am before you, if you do decide to judge. I have a very thick skin. I'm gonna let you know right now. So if you do decide to attack, that's cool. I might banter back. I might not. We'll see what happens. Right? So anyway, I appreciate you guys clicking on this video and even staying this long for the after ramble. I really do appreciate it. I do read every comment. I would say subscribe, like, and all that stuff, but to be honest, you don't have to. It doesn't bother me. I only make these videos because just one day I'm probably gonna have arthritis because I play too much Tekken. I just want to have these just to look back on, to be honest. I don't know if I'm gonna start taking this serious or start doing videos even like this anymore, but like I said, I appreciate it. So you guys have a good one. Ciao.